Keep on swimming. No life jacket. Previously on Sailing Balachandra, I took apart my Perco sea strainer, replaced the seals, and reinstalled it. Hey guys, so we're just down at the Gulf Coast of Florida, checking out the beach today. It's pretty beautiful. Maybe one day we'll bring the boat down here, but I'm just on vacation right now, so I thought what the heck, I'd say hello. I'm gonna go to West Marine later on, check it out. Should be pretty cool. Anyway, yeah, so. I am at West Marine. Hey guys, so I just wanted to show you a few things. I'm up here on deck. It's like -7 outside, but inside the enclosure here, it's probably plus 25 maybe. So I'm really hot, so I'm basically just got nothing on but shorts today. It's pretty crazy for February. So what I'm looking at right now is my anchor locker door. This is the bottom of the anchor locker door. I removed it a few minutes ago because I wanted to do some work on it. It was a modified anchor locker. It used to be like a triangle shape, and they cut this piece in two. And this is the access spot, and the other part is kind of like a bolt-on thing for an anchor windlass that they installed at some point. Anyway, this was probably sealed up pretty good at some point, but since then some of that epoxy's fallen out. So I'm taking this back to my parents' place with me. I'm going to grind off this edge here, cut that, and then probably take some new fiberglass and seal this bit of core area off so that it's watertight again. This is my anchor locker access. Here's the hinges where I removed the door. It wasn't nice to see that there was 3 holes here that were drilled at some point. Probably held the old anchor locker, or maybe there was a hinge here at some point. Anyway, there was one here, and I can see that this one here was filled at some point. These other ones were not, so that's this mystery to me. And I got a little concerned that it's thick here, so there's probably some core in this piece. So just a little probe tool, I shove it in there, and I'm hitting something solid. It's not wet core, that's good. Just to be safe, I'm going to over drill these and fill them with epoxy. Just back in New Brunswick again, and the fiberglass door to my chain locker. Took the old triangular piece and then cut it in half, and we've got this kind of rough glassing work that was done that hasn't held up. So I'm going to chamfer this edge off, just cut this right here and remove some material, and then re-glass that edge. So I've got my angle grinder ready to go here, and I'm going to try 2 different discs. I've got one for masonry and one for metal. I'm going to try them both. I'm thinking the masonry is probably the right one for fiberglass. I've got the edge now chamfered away. So this was taking my angle grinder with a masonry bit, and I was able to slice right across here and remove this big chunk of, it's several layers actually, and I think because there's 2 different colors of fiberglass that I uncovered here, this was a modification from a big triangular chain locker door cover into this sectional door cover. Someone thought, well, we should reinforce this, and I believe that this chunk here was added. They filled this with a foam. There was these 2 layers, so this layer here is actually original balsa core layer they had thrown in this chain locker door. It's only more like maybe a 1/4 inch of balsa core, and it's missing here because this was rotten just in this one section. And then of course this foam was nice and dry, like bone dry. Now that it has a nice chamfered edge, when I glass new glass or an epoxy over top of this that will add extra support, and this sandwich layer will be stronger. I also over drilled these holes because I noticed that they hadn't been done that way, and so I made them larger. I'm going to fill those holes with epoxy and then re-drill them so that they seal better, and that's standard practice, and keep the moisture off the core. So to deal with the bits of rotten core that I found in here, and it's not completely rotten, it was only rotten back to about here. I dug out the core that was here. It was a very thin layer, but I dug this out using screwdrivers, and I used a couple of paint scrapers and stuff like that, and got it all out of there, all the wet stuff. So I dug out what I could, and I know that some of it inside was still pretty wet, so I filled this crack with rice all the way to the top, just like you'd do if you filled a bowl full of rice and then dropped your cell phone in there to try and suck out the moisture. Overnight, I left this whole pad sitting on one of those heating blankets that you use when you're not feeling well. So you've got your rice in this crack and then the heating blanket underneath, and the combination of those two things seem to suck all the moisture out of this. I'm just going to fill this with some glue gun. Then I'm going to wet it with epoxy. I'm going to put fiberglass mesh, and then I'm going to do probably 2 layers of fiberglass mesh and epoxy, and just basically fiberglass over this whole thing and seal it up. So before I apply any new fiberglass or epoxy to this, I'm just going to wash down all of the fiberglass surface acetone just to clean it up and remove any oils or anything. Starting here by cutting a piece of fiberglass. Okay, so I finished glassing 2 layers of fiberglass over the entire new camphor that I did. We'll just leave this to dry. Alright guys, back aboard Balachandra, and I brought my chain locker door. It's finished with the fiberglass all repaired. It's dry and ready to go. I over drilled these holes and then filled them with epoxy. These are the holes that hold the hinges on the door, so those are ready to go. So the next step is to cut off this little rough edge here. It just kind of sticks out a little, and I'm going to use a Dremel tool with this little cutting blade. So now I'm just putting a few coats of polyurethane paint over top of my work here with the chain locker door. I'll probably put a few coats on just to make sure it seals up pretty good, but this is Interlux Bright Side polyurethane boat paint. Alright, so I just finished sanding down all the epoxy that I had put here for the chain locker door, and I'm ready to re-drill new holes that will fit these screws and remount the door, and everything should be nice and watertight. I'm just going to countersink these holes with a countersink bit that I have in my toolkit here. So what I like to do is take a little bit of butyl tape in the beginning and make kind of like it's like you're playing with Play-Doh, and just get yourself like a little bead and work it into like this, kind of like a little wormy shape, I guess. And you want this to go around the top of the bolt so that this, when it cinches down, we'll add some butyl tape here and make a seal. Then you also want to put some more butyl tape around the bottom in the same fashion. And that will provide the seal for the bottom. So we've got a top and a bottom seal here. That's really important when you put the bolts underneath and get those installed, that you don't turn the screw heads. So that's it for this week's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you like my videos, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. And if you want, leave a comment below because I read them. So thanks so much. We'll see you guys later. Bye. Next time on Sailing Balachandra, I get my sails professionally repaired at North Sails. I don't know if I want to swim in really cold water. What do you think? Would you get in this?
No.
No?